Hey, it's Russ Payton with Roleplaying Public Radio. We're here for a very special RPPR actual play episode. When you're here, you're family. It's a game you have to play at the Olive Garden. So we're here at the Olive Garden.
Live on location.
Yeah, live on location. This is a storytelling game about a group of people who leave one place and go to another, and what happens to them. And it's played while we eat breadsticks, and we're served breadsticks. So, finally, after years of hardship, you've made it here, your home, the place where you'll make your stand and raise your families as a community. So, the first part we're supposed to do before you sit down at our table, but obviously we can't. It's hard to record when you're in the, waiting room area and everybody's.
For whatever reason, this place is extremely popular in Springfield on a Friday night.
Yeah,
it is the place.
Yeah, it is bumping. I mean, that's not surprising at all. This is Springfield, but it is.
But nevertheless.
Yeah. Each person had one detail about your former home, so I'll go first. Earth was super polluted. So, and then David, you're...
Well, personally, I have to say that we appreciate the humans for taking us in the way that they did. And though we were galactic refugees, we are going to make a new start of it. This new Earth is going to be a home for both.
Okay.
The humans and the Eldar.
All right, so there were aliens on Earth. And now they're coming with us to this new Earth.
Why would we not?
Yeah. Renee?
Before Earth had ended, we had all given up jobs. So nobody had, jobs per se. It's just, whatever you felt like doing.
Okay.
And everything else was filled in by robots.
It's a post-scary.
So it's very, very kind of Star Trek-y. A little bit.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
There's just no jobs.
Okay.
We don't have, necessarily skills.
Okay, yeah. I like that. Very utopian. Except for the pollution, but,
That's what the robots are.
I was about to see if it was either you or me.
So, I was going with, we've also managed to find a new conflict resolution system. So,
Okay.
So warfare had recently been abolished, which, the utopia is fine for most working people, but veterans are kind of in a weird status of not really sure where they fit in anymore because don't have anything to do, but they're kind of a class that kind of relies on having things to do.
Yeah. Very existential.
Yeah.
All right.
And before the pollution crisis, the scientists of this, since you had everybody doing what they wanted to, had enough time to actually craft interdimensional travel technology, and we're exploring that. But unfortunately, an accident creating a permanent portal into an uninhabitable zone is what actually caused the pollution crisis. So they can find multiple different worlds.
So aperture science kind of screwed it.
Yeah, so portals. So more portals.
All right.
This was a triumph.
I was thinking, that's it made it sliders for our home world.
All right. Oh, that's your problem. You got sliders on your planet. You can't. You can't fix that. That won't pass inspection.
You just have to burn the planet.
Yeah, we gotta start over.
So we're supposed to wait till the breadsticks arrives. Are we going to pause? Or?
No, because we still have another thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
Because once the breadsticks arrives, we're generation 2.
Right.
Each person now states one factor value of the community in its early days. So I'm going to say they actually solved a problem for the veterans. The veterans were in charge of the new science police to make sure that portals accidents could never happen again. So there was a very strong science police established.
And it was quite a useful thing, too. I mean...
Well, you can just say any one value or fact, but yeah.
Many of those scientists who felt guilty about what they did decided to put aside their knowledges and learn new things. So that's how we've had a resurgence in farmers. Not just farmers, but people who actually know how to be horticulturalists at the same time.
Okay.
So we have had some of the most tasty fruit that you could imagine.
Okay. Very good.
In the same line, artists and anyone who can put the word artisanal in front of their product is actually they're well thought of, valued members of the community, as opposed to like the scientists.
Okay. So a lot of people not as respecting scientists as much. All right. Fair.
I'm going to say, within your Earth-like conditions, it's a very robust environment as far as flora fauna goes. So things such as like game wardening and even trophy hunting has kind of come back into vogue, despite kind of utopian nature, because there's a lot of interesting and also highly scary crap out there. So.
Okay. All right.
But since you do have a little bit of the competition between the scientific disciplines and the artistic ones, there is kind of a competitive meritocracy going on where everybody is trying to produce the absolute pinnacle of what they are in. So you have the massive competitive bakers, the competitive physicists who can get to the smallest, that's like particle-based block.
We brought the Great British Bake Off to get this didn't we?
I never watched the thing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Okay.
I mean, there's no way that we could possibly have a society without the master bakers.
All the Eldar agree.
Yeah. So we're still in the first generation, so I guess we can continue talking about it until the breadsticks show up. It's a long-lived generation because of medical technology and whatnot. So yeah,
It is one of the things that we
Save for
did bring along.
random maulings and other accidents.
Oh, yeah.
New colony.
yeah, that's true.
Oh yes, but even though there are the random maulings, at least we know how to put the arms back on,
Touche. Yeah.
and we know how to regrow organs. I mean,
When you say we, do you mean the Eldar or everybody?
well, share and share alike. We brought the technologies with us,
Okay,
and we taught
okay.
you, and
There we go.
And then you
very
also taught
egalitarian.
us about these things that you call crumb pets.
All right.
Petite ghettos.
And the breadsticks. All right, so the breadsticks have arrived. Therefore, we are at our second generation.
They lived a long, good life, our parents.
Yes.
So going around the table, you describe either one new way the new generation has broken from tradition, or one way the community has kept tradition alive. So I'll go first, and I'll say, because artisans and artists are so valued, there's now intense competition, and competition has increased so much that artists are beginning to focus on creating artworks that will last millions, if not billions, of years. And sometimes this is taken up. So there's debate now about how much resources these artists should be given access to, because if you're building, like, carving out an asteroid so it's a perfect sphere and put it in orbit around the planet as a new moon, maybe we shouldn't do that for, numerous reasons, vis-a-vis the tides, ego,
That
and
sounds awfully scientific.
yeah. Well, there's that too. But yeah, the artists are having to go further and further to extremes to create art that is noteworthy. So, anyways,
But on the other hand, my father was very adamant about keeping the recipes the same.
okay.
People may need to produce art that will last millions, if not billions of years, but at the same time, food is food, and it is a requirement. And it's one thing to say, I'm going to put boysenberry into the gravy because I think it will make it a nice flavor. But on the other hand, the boysenberry scones that we've been eating since my father came to this planet, we should still keep those same boysenberry scones around. Well, not the same ones, but the same recipe for them.
Yeah.
There will always be boysenberry scones. As long as I live, there will be boysenberry scones.
All right. So, still very traditional with food. Not so much with art.
The science police have been having a hard time recruiting because since the first generation died away, turns out it's not that much fun to yell at other people for the portals, but there's still a great need to make sure that we don't have portal technology.
Well, not just Portal, but other,
Yeah, all the bad
nano
stuff.
machines. There's nano machines.
So they've started trying to figure out hip ways to reach the youths with their
America's Army again. No.
science.
No, they're cops, so it's procedurals. It's Law and Order science victims.
CSI.
Yeah.
Science and technology.
27.
Like all the movies, or yeah.
Porter Police, 17 and a half precinct.
Yeah. To wit, there has been a small resurgence of some of the notions of meritocracy that kind of derived from the conflict between the artists and the scientists has actually spun off a smaller, kind of minority population that has grown into like extreme like adventuring, like mountain climbers and so forth. It's kind of like evolved out of like the native, the game wardens and stuff like that. Like has kind of moved into like, oh hey, we were tracking this one thing, we found this awesome mountain and we decided to climb it. Now like we just hammock off the side of cliffs and stuff like that. So like, yeah, there's starting to be a bit of a resurgence in kind of like dangerous sporting activities, to kind of as kind of a, oh yeah, you thought it was so cool building a 37 tier cake. Well, I just scaled that mountain in under 3 days, like type of thing going on.
And,
I like that. Yeah.
and that actually has created the next craze of extreme sporting that the science police are actually. It's why the reason they need the recruits so badly is because the meritocracy of the scientist community has actually they didn't abandon the portal technology. That's how they got to the new planet, but it's refined so the pollution issue will never happen again. They can identify toxic dimensions as needed. The thing as now is to see if you can actually enter in another dimension briefly and without causing massive paradox. You're literally going to find your own person and slap them on the back of the head. And the thing is that in some places that can, because other universes are very different, so that might cause a chain reaction in a way you can't protest. And
Butterfly effect, yeah.
Well, and since that last breadstick's been bitten, there is unfortunately a calamity. I have to point out that some of the big game hunting that has taken place has caused an issue because while most of the weapons have been done away with over time because we don't have the conflict anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Unfortunately, some of the creatures on this new planet have come out and come closer to the colony. I mean, we're not talking the giant albino mutant crayfish of the old world. But on the other hand, there is a bandersnatch, and it is rather fruitless. And we're going to have to do something about that.
Touché.
So,
Do you want some more soup?
and breadsticks?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean,
I know this game is.
keeps the crisis dice going.
all right, so in terms of the crisis, artists actually start realizing one way they can gain renown is if they create artistic weapons and weapon systems.
Okay.
You can't mass produce these. Each one is unique.
Yeah.
It requires
Small
unique
batch
training.
weaponry.
Well, it's not even a small batch, it's all one-offs.
Yeah. And so, but if a hunter kills a monster with a unique artistic weapon, that artist gains a lot of fame, almost as much as the hunter.
Yeah.
So, artists start producing them, and they start going into like, well, wait, what about robots? We could have them pilot robots to fight some of these on. So each robot is, of course, unique. Yeah.
But we're going to have to go with small batch robots, at least at first.
Every robot is unique. No mass production. It's artisanal. You can't. They're bespoke death bots.
And considering that in these last 2 generations, we've only managed to explore 1/2% of the surface of this planet, who knows what else could be out there?
It's a big planet, apparently.
Very big.
All right.
And now it's got 8 moons.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
I mean, there's no way that that's not going to be Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
So, I mean, we were supposed to talk a little bit about
Since my
how this
granddad-
generation disappointed, or are we going to just go straight?
Oh,
to
yeah,
the
yeah, no, let's
generation,
do that.
or
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm officially in the third generation now, so.
As a table, speak about how the previous generation has disappointed you. So, how did the first generation disappoint you? The previous generation disappointed by not going too far back in an idealized pastoral land. Like, I mean, those portals would have been really nice. The early years of the colony were hard. So, yeah.
Oh, it was a little bit of hard work, yes, but when you really look at it, we had to learn to go back to the basics. I mean, yes, we've got the robot farming droids now that grow all of our food to a uniform size and the watermelons to a perfect square, but it was nice to see what a natural watermelon looked like. I mean, I have never seen purples and blues like that in my life.
All right. So, what are you disappointed with the previous generation?
I'm disappointed that they've gone so far so fast. I mean,
Okay.
seriously, we're already up to giant robots and we've only been on this planet for 2 generations? Don't you think that was a little much?
Hard
could have stuck-
disagree.
We could have stuck with obelisks and ballista. And what about that sword, the one that made the lovely sound when it went after the Jabberwocky? What was that?
Yeah.
Kitty Cat.
Yeah,
Kitty
yeah,
Cat.
yeah.
Yes, that one.
Well,
I'm a little bit disappointed that it's like the cooperative, collaborative nature of that's like at least of the previous of the first generation has been supplanted by a much more aggressive competition, where everything has to be unique and it can't be respected as part of a group structure anymore. Everybody has to rise to meteoric stances and with their giant mechanical avatars.
okay.
I'm disappointed that I can't put boysenberry in my gravy.
Oh, okay. Jason?
Does everyone like cheese on their entrees? Alright. Cheese and milk here for you, and I'll hand them out.
Damn, they're really fast. Yeah.
Quick generations.
Generations do seem to go by.
Well, what are you disappointed about the first?
I'm disappointed with the lack of maintaining of kind of the need of discipline. Like, you know,
Okay.
that they've let, they've let security and, and you know, this kind of traditional art form of protection kind of wane in lieu of, like, you know, eccentric behavior. Now there's the need for this.
Well, how exactly
lame.
All right.
You know,
How exactly could they do that?
All right.
I mean, how exactly could they maintain discipline? There's only one shield and there's only one set of armor.
All right. We'll be right back.
Carbonara.
All right. So, like, we're house ruling that we are allowing ourselves to order entrees. So, but that's we're on generation 3 is what I'm saying. So, let's see here. Your third generation. Go around the table. Each person should describe one way the misremembered legends of the first generation has informed the actions of the third. As the table, share legends of the community elders and talk about how the previous generation has betrayed their values. So, yeah, I think we kind of... Anyways, I would say the legends of the veterans who came in now are the ones inspiring the hunters. As their war movies are now, they're trying to reenact essentially the war propaganda movies of the past as ways to fight the monsters. Well, not monsters, animals.
yeah.
So,
Which are monsters.
yeah.
Name's Caitlin, I'll be taking care of you.
Anyone want to go next?
Well, I seem to remember that there was a big issue with baking in the past, that we had to keep the traditions alive. But my ancestor also talked about how he made a soon scoon. No, I think that might be the wrong word. He found a way to bake faster through science.
Thank you.
And when we stifle innovation, we stifle creativity. That's how we end up with a 17th moon, like last week.
All right. Renee?
The competition of the artists and scientists have essentially reached its limit. They've found the best
Yeah.
version of the things. And so they don't need to try and get down to the smallest particle anymore because
They found
they know what it is. They've got it. So it's less exciting, I guess, to be like in a competition with somebody, because it's like really they're just competing to see like who can do the best thing the fastest now, or the slowest, or whatever.
All right.
Hey, say what you will about the 17-day pot roast, but that is some tasty meat.
So, a myth of the first generation was that that it was kind of coming to this planet, because we had to escape the pollution.
Yeah.
Was a technological fault. So now there's kind of been a rise in like neo-primitivism, and this misunderstanding that like, oh no, technology bad. Like why have you reviewed technology so much? Like clearly, like that was the problem the whole time. That's all they talked about was all the the damn machines and everything else was what destroyed us. So no, we must harmonize.
Uh-oh.
Lest we risk Eden once again.
All right.
So one legend, because at this point in time for the third one, despite the massive advertising campaigns, I guess, within the community and the different shows, they got to Science Police. That's like Alpha Beta Centauri. But they have actually gone down as they've learned that most of the disciplines are self-correcting at this point. Nobody wants to cause a major global catastrophe.
Except for that one guy, but he did get stopped.
There is one, but it's led to at least the Science Police becoming more of a detective agency, essentially. That's like they've decided to actually
Privatize.
It's become privatized and more of a long hobby, keeping the traditions alive. So thinking like the one guy who wants to see the Texas Rangers still be a real thing.
So it's like, what do you do for fun? I don't know. I solve science crimes.
Exactly. So it's literally a Columbo of this kind of going.
Yeah, we're going to the science crime solver meetup. It's going to be fun.
And before you go, I know the Texas Rangers are a real thing. It's still going. I'm just joking. Like the old.
Hordes of angry Texas Rangers will be
Everywhere.
They won't forget me
just
because
one errand, one ranger.
the last Texas Ranger comes after me.
You guys are the ranger upon you, Aaron.
You are going to get roundhouse kicked so hard.
Now we also talk about legends of the community elders and how the previous generation has betrayed their values.
That and Aaron just took the last breadsticks, so complication.
Clearly.
I thought it was when the last one was eaten, but you're
Everything tasting okay, guys?
Right?
Alright.
Could we get some more breadsticks?
Breadsticks? Of course.
All right, so there's a crisis. I got the perfect crisis. So some of the
I
scientists.
told you that 17th moon was going to mess up the tides, and now look what's happened.
Actually, what I'm thinking is some unscrupulous hunters and scientists want bigger and cooler animals to hunt. So they sort of go do some science crimes to make genetically engineered, fast-breeding, predatory animals.
Jurassic World.
We are very doing Jurassic World. And so the artist robot jockeys have to fight off hordes of very pretty velociraptors.
so it's a group of Lady Gagas.
Yep, exactly. That's my crisis. Let's see here. Drastic action must be taken. What are the consequences, large and small, for the community?
Okay, so hear me out on this one. We did find out that the major laser bot was extremely effective in a couple of situations, but it did get somewhat shredded by the or at least whatever they're calling themselves now. So I propose that we take the designs that actually work and make more of them.
That's crazy talk. That's
No. Hear me
crazy
out.
talk.
A major laser was very effective, but think how effective 3 major lasers would
You're
have
just
been.
selling out, man.
Where's the like je ne sais quoi in that?
I don't know what.
It's so gauche. It's just.
Which is causing the great kneeling to the man.
Okay, so can we rebuild the 1 major laser and upgrade it as a compromise?
I'm sorry,
from
the
being-
maker is dead.
Yeah.
Yes, but he left his designs behind so that they could be immortalized for all time.
That is so derivative.
But then Lieutenant Colonel Laser is going to be really, really useful. We'll give him multiple lasers.
All right. So that's another
So major
concept.
laser barrage.
So there's differing communities, differing opinions about whether or not we should mass produce things. At least the death robots.
Maybe not mass produce, but multi-produce.
Multi-produce. Any other consequences for this?
Look, if it was
well,
just
the,
one velociraptor and 1 bot.
You know, the fast breeding was a mistake in hindsight.
There's been a mass, overhaul of the privatized, science detective forces. Well,
We need them.
look what happened. We have now we have crazy people building super monsters and other crazy people building derivative art form defense systems. Like,
Oh yeah, that's pirated. People start pirating Major Laser.
Those are called dads.
God.
Dad systems.
Yes. That needs to go in somewhere.
Wait, what is it called?
dad's
Dad
derivative art
systems.
form
Defensive systems.
That's pretty good, actually.
This is why you're married.
That is pretty good.
We are quite a potentate.
I wish my grandfather was
any
alive
other-
to see you two in action.
He'd roll over in his grave.
Any other consequences of the animal attack?
Oh, okay. Actually, that it did. Unfortunately, with the rise of the DAD system, which was highly effective, they didn't count on the fact that it's like that the strains that the overzealous scientists set up would basically completely overrun. It's like attach to each other and reactively react to the situation.
Oh, yes, please.
Would react to the situation as a overhaul, as basically a full-on threat. So they literally attached themselves and started creating essentially combined kaiju of their own, acting as individual cells to react to the dads, or as they come to be known.
I'm so lost. What happened?
Yeah. So
Are you Voltroning the dads?
no, not
Pacific rimming it.
No, yeah, we're Pacific rimming it. So the monsters have combined together right now to combat the dads in an organism they've decided as that's like multiple offensive monsters or moms.
Oh God.
Yep.
You started this.
All
You
right.
didn't have to like it so much to run with it.
More breadsticks have arrived. So now we're at the 4th generation.
Fit for the Eldar.
Yeah.
Nearly the 6th. Eldar short-lived.
Go around the table. Each person should share one way in which times have changed and the values of the first settlers no longer apply. As the table discuss these new approaches to these emerging problems.
Well, I'm jumping straight in. Like,
All right.
war's back, so that's pretty big. That's a pretty big deviation.
Is it just dads versus moms?
Yeah, it's dads versus moms. Yeah, the parental warfare is overrunning the planet now as they upsize the kaiju's and the robots.
You know, I hate it when mom and dad fight like this.
Yes, exactly. It's starting to wreck cities.
People start rereading ancient literature and misinterpreting it because dad and mom language has changed. It no longer means parent; it means giant robot or giant monster. So people misread a lot of Judy Blume. They think she was. There's a cult. She's now a Nostradamus type figure.
And
Yeah.
so is said from the tales of the third grade death. God.
So yeah, there's now fortune telling based on YA literature.
Yep.
They also
But-
think that moms can be appeased if you just bring them enough flowers.
Yes. That was mentioned repeat. So they're not sure if they mean like human-sized flowers, if they have to grow giant flowers.
Yeah.
So there's an effort to grow giant flowers.
Well, I have to say, Grandpa had it wrong. This boysenberry gravy is delicious.
Yep, yeah, I don't think they're going to be so traditional about food anymore. Anybody else?
You know, it's all fun and games trying to bake the pies until a kaiju steps in the middle of the bakery
A mom, no.
Yep.
and crushes poor Mary Berry. I mean, granted, she's immortal by this point, and she's going to
she's
pull
just a
herself back
robot
together.
that they've made for Eternal Mary Berry. You know?
But still, she's going to have to get a lot of repairs before she can go back to drinking. And we can't have that.
Smiling
wants us-
delightedly.
Who wants a sober Mary Berry? No one.
Well, some collectives of the it's like remembering the previous generation's passes and remembering that the mass production essentially of the art, it's like of the bots and also the beast in this case really brought down. There's a resurgence in the need for artisanal. That's like combativeness again. So this has led to an underground collective known as the Neo Warhols that are developing the ultimate. She fucking shakes her head at me.
I can and I will.
Who are, it's like more or less a guerrilla group. They've proven slightly effective against both sides, but it's very confusing as they will take their defeated foes and arrange them in massive, that's like massive repeating patterns along the walls. So it's state that nobody gets it. Actually, that's written right up there.
Now, there are some that say that nobody gets it, and there are others who think that they are dandy. You know, the dandy Warhols.
Exactly.
I think it's everybody for this generation. So I think we're kind of caught up.
Yep.
Well, somewhat. I'm actually a generation ahead because...
Well, you did, yeah.
You're always a generation ahead.
Yeah,
Or two.
they're like
Soon to be
locusts. Anyway.
Hey, look, there goes the new generation.
Oh, here they come.
All right, so I think I think we've eaten our fill. So I think the only thing left is
Speak for
ordering
yourself,
coffee.
Peyton.
So yeah. All right, we'll pause. All right, so David is enjoying his second dish.
Round of unlimited pasta.
Round of unlimited pasta.
And the
So-
ziti is actually pretty good. Do you guys want to try?
no, I'm stuffed.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Fortunately, so is the ziti.
Hey. So, let's see here. We had war back. Dad's fighting moms. Giant flowers being grown. Judy Bloom astrology cults or fortune telling cults.
Yes, and there is that one Eldar scientist who finally figured out the answer to the problem of dad and mom fighting.
Oh yeah, what is it?
It's a global orbital defense. A bunch of satellites that can be calibrated to fire whenever mom gets out of hand or dad is starting to destroy the world around.
Yeah,
So that is the God network.
it's the what?
The God, you know, the global
Oh,
orbital
jeez.
defense.
Okay, yep.
All right.
All right.
So in our times of crisis, the Eldar are going to teach us that we should turn to God.
Yep. All right. What's one more detail about this new generation? I would say, actually, pollution is becoming a problem because,
Goes red come
Urban cities.
well, not just that. Actually, the extreme sport people are unrelenting as they are essentially terraforming the planet to become more extreme. Building mountains that are taller and.
Because you can't just climb the mountain you climbed yesterday.
Yeah,
Detonating thermonuclear devices near it to create volcanoes and so on and so forth.
you got it. Yep.
Yep. I dig it.
The people, what they do dig. They do
Nuclear winter this year. Come on.
canyons for wingsuit gliding.
My board.
All right. So,
You know,
Now 5 alpine villages.
They finally figured out that growing big enough flowers isn't going to
Be that
work.
much more
So now they've decided that it must be numbers of flowers. So they're really mad. The farmers are really mad at the at the explorers because they need large swaths of land to grow all these flowers, and they keep exploding their fields to make more volcanoes.
Okay, yeah.
And do you know how long it takes to get the soil just right to make the roses grow that particular shade of periwinkle?
Okay, I like that. Any other details? I have actually one detail about that I can add on to yours.
Yeah.
The giant flowers aren't a total wash. They become the newest housing trend, as you can just live in a giant flower. It's more like a tree with a big flower on top. But like,
Sure.
Yeah.
So the Reformed Science Police have formed a militarized division, and they're militarized against the pollution. So they're actually waging war on pollutants in the air.
Okay.
Like, they are creating like aircraft and and new technology to try and attempt to vaporize.
Are they?
One might say a geocruiser.
Yes, one would.
And since they come from 5 different areas of the planet,
Yes, please.
I'll bring out a couple for you. Yeah.
I think they have a specific name, don't they?
When she comes back, I'll order coffee. So when she comes back, I'll order coffee.
Yeah, they've got a big list of specialty coffees in there.
Ooh.
I got it. It's right at where desserts stand. I'm just getting a cappuccino because
Yeah, cappuccino
I'm weak
sounds.
and lazy.
Cappuccino sounds good. Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah. All right, so that ends for that generation.
David, you gonna finish or you want a box?
I ain't no quitter.
All right, we're good on that one. Can I get a cappuccino? She would like a cafe latte.
Okay.
I'd like a cappuccino too.
Cappuccino.
And can I get a cappuccino as well?
Is it straight and a latte for her?
Yes, please.
All right. Yeah. So we'll continue with the final generation on Extreme Dad v Mom Planet. Let's finish this. All right, and we're back. Let's see here. Take one final leap in time to the day when the group of pilgrims decides they cannot live in the community any longer. Each person at the table should add one detail about why you're leaving, where you're heading, and what you're leaving behind. Or what you're leaving behind. Where you're headed or what you're leaving behind. So it doesn't have to be... all right, so...
See, it was all fun and games until somebody decided to crack the planet core.
We're heading... We've got the portal stuff working, so we're heading into a new dimension. This one is Earth. I think that's a name for a good planet. So we'll go to this Earth.
Yarth.
There's some big lizards on there, but we can take them. Dad will protect us from the lizards. They're not even mom-sized yet. Anyways.
Yep.
So that's where we're heading. David, what would...
Oh, and I know that we want to go to this mystical Earth place.
Yep.
But yeah, it was all fun and games until somebody decided to crack the planet core with all of their terraforming. Threw the entire planet out of whack. And 93rd Moon is the one that is causing the massive tsunami tidal waves along the side, because having so many moons all concentrated on one side of the planet at once is bad for the tides. Who knew that? Oh wait, everyone.
Did we make Krypton by mistake?
Luckily,
Yeah.
because of all these tsunamis, we've really developed a lot of good underwater technology, and Earth has a lot of oceans.
60-some-odd%, I believe, according to
Yeah,
our
something like
calculations.
that. So we can go and live under the water and start a new civilization there.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned anything about
In the
what we're leaving
deepest
behind. Yeah.
trenches.
We're going to... Anyways.
Well, so the mom and dad argument got to the point of oh gosh, I'm not fast enough to come up with a divorce acronym, but yeah, dad's coming with us. The mom became some sort of singularity at this point. He's just roaming the planet now, like shuffling everybody into little pockets, trying to herd them to bed.
Well, there was a new super weapon that both the dad and mom are fighting over. They're trying to take custody of it. The ballistic overload yield. So they're trying. Who will get the boy?
Yes. Yep. There it is. So yeah, we're leaving behind mom, which has gotten so out of control, and into such a state. It's just insufferable.
All right, Aaron.
So, I was going through. So it's leaving off of that.
You can talk about why we're leaving, what we're leaving behind, or what about our new home?
What about the new home? Well, as we go through, we find that, since this is an Earth, and we didn't realize it's like that, portals can lead into other parallel timelines as well. They actually end up encountering other portals as they find out that they see other refugees from similar universes coming through here. And they realize that ultimately this is a junction point. This is the safe haven for everybody who has fled their own worlds, and this Earth now becomes the nexus point for...
Just happened to be... Are we referring to this one as 629 by any chance?
No, or 616?
Yeah.
Yes, not 616, but they do decide to make that's like what they call the grand oceanic collaborative, or GOC. And so as part of this, and they christened a ship called the Sequest. I'm going to put that in there.
Okay.
I don't.
There it is. Yeah.
It's been there 5 times, Ross.
So what you're saying is that this new planet is the, what would it be? Galactic interstellar ritualistic ley line. So
we fled to the girl.
yes.
Yeah, the custody battle was tough. Boy and girl split up. Yeah.
I hate it when mommy and daddy fight.
You can never go
When mommy
home
and daddy
again.
fight, we all lose.
All right.
Listen, we're at the Olive Garden. When you're here, your family.
Yeah. Except in the custody battle. All right. So that's been our April 1 very serious game. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Your pool's dead. Your pool's dead. Your pool's dead. Your pool's dead. Your pool's dead.